So dropping into your body by letting go of everything that happened up to this point, everything that might happen in the future. I'm starting to connect with your breath in a way that feels supportive for your body. And if your mind's still a little busy from your day, you can start to count the length of your breath on the inhale, and then count down on the exhale. And as you more deeply connect with your breath, allow that deepening to create an awareness of your body, an awareness of where you might be holding tension. And at the same time, noticing the parts of your bodies that are not taking up your attention. Acknowledging those areas that feel open and free. Coming back to those areas that might be holding a little bit of resistance. And allowing that to be okay, holding the space for those sensations. Not just in the body, but in the mind. The ego is always looking for something better, a different moment. Always trying to escape the present moment. And so allowing the highest part of yourself to observe that, if that's happening in your mind. The body can sometimes have a physical response when the mind believes it should be doing something different. So observing the body, there's a sense of moving, wanting to move to the next moment, an anxiousness. Holding space for that to be okay. And noticing the moments when that drifts away and there is just pure stillness and acceptance of this moment. And on your next inhale, start to straighten out your legs one at a time. Reach your arms overhead, reaching into equal and opposite directions. Maybe wiggling the hips a little bit. And on an exhale, sweep your arms back down until the tops of your hands meet the earth. And bend your knees, taking your feet as wide as your yoga mat, just guessing where that yoga mat is, and windshield wiping the knees from side to side. And then pausing with the knees up in the shapes of mountains, and slowly allow the knees to touch, inner thighs touch, and the feet stay wide. Bend the elbows. Draw your hands, one hand on top of the other, over the heart space. And just for now, noticing the beating of your heart, your breath, moving, lifting and lowering the chest. And taking this time, if you would like, to set an intention for your practice. Releasing any expectations, attachments to the outcome as you heel-toe your feet about sit bone width distance apart. Slide your hands down to your thighs and start to peel your head off of your yoga mat, neck, upper back until you're all the way up to seated position. You can use your knees to help yourself up, making this practice as easy as possible. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up, reaching up, touching the clouds. And on an exhale, thread the needle here with your arms underneath your legs and just give yourself a little hug in, maybe a little wiggle from side to side, opening up in your back. And really breathing to extend the back, to open the back, where the spine's actually more in flexion here, but the breath creates space and allows you to melt your heart and your belly on your exhales. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, lengthening the sides of your bodies. Feel your feet on the earth and push down through your feet and your hands as you start to lift up your hips. Maybe just coming up halfway, wiggling a little bit. You come a little higher. If it feels good, head goes back. You can wiggle the hips a little bit. And then pausing in a cross-legged position, Sukhasana. So the position that you're most comfortable sitting in. And then take your hands to your knees. So just like a meditation position. And you can find a focal point outside or close your eyes. Feeling the parts of your bodies touching the earth and grounding more fully into the earth as you sweep your arms up. Full breath here, opening up the lungs. On an exhalation, you're rotating to the right. So just a gentle twist and keeping that chest lifted and chin level to the earth and eyes level to the horizon. And finding, again, a focal point. We call that drishti, a place where your eyes can focus. Or close your eyes if you feel like you need to bring your attention more inward. Inhale, begin to unwind, gathering up more breath, more prana. Inhale, inhale, fullest breath you can take so far. And exhale, wringing out the spine, wringing out whatever you might be carrying as you relax your shoulders down, gazing back behind you or closing your eyes. Inhale, opening up the heart as you sweep your arms wide. On an exhale, we're bowing forward. So take your hands just wide here to support yourself and bowing until you feel a stretch. You might not have to come too far forward to feel that stretch. And once you feel that opening in the hips, a gentle opening, make sure that you relax your shoulders, your jaw, your face, your eyes. Inhale, press through your fingertips to come up. And we'll do that same exercise on the other side, switch legs. So if you naturally sit this way, I do because my right hip's tighter than my left, this side might be a little bit more uncomfortable. So just noticing that and sitting with it for a moment, still trying to find that good posture through your spine. And just taking a moment to be still. And so these moments of sacred pause, I call it, to tap into your beingness, reminding yourself, your ego, that being still does have value. We don't always have to be going and doing and getting things done. The stillness is an opportunity to refill our buckets, mentally taking a break, physically recharging. And so taking that opportunity to really fill up as you sweep your arms wide, gathering up all the good that this moment has to offer. And exhale, wringing out the spine again. We're turning to the right. And gaze sometimes just naturally falls to the floor. So I encourage you to look to the horizon to keep that good posture in your neck. And open heart, soften through the hips. Inhale, unwind, reach up, lengthen, opportunity to create better posture here, and keep that good posture as you rotate the spine. Broadening through your collarbones, softening through the shoulders, softening your gaze, or again, softening the eyes closed. Unwind, reach to sky, inhale, another opportunity to fill up, pulling in all that good oxygen, that clean mountain air, and then exhale, bowing forward over your legs. And if your ankle's in the way, sometimes I'll sit with one ankle in front of the other, which is a little bit more comfortable for me sometimes, if you want to try that version. Inhale, press into the earth, and then take your feet together, Baddha Konasana here. We're just going to shake out the legs, get some synovial fluid moving in the hips. And then take another bow. We'll always start with lengthening the spine first, and then exhale, bow over. You can walk your hands forward or use your elbows to encourage a little bit more stretch for your adductors. And as soon as we start opening up the hips, a natural response is clenching of the jaw, lifting of the shoulders, clenching of the eyes. So just taking that scan for your upper body, allowing some release, allowing gravity to melt you closer towards the earth. Inhale, helping yourself up. And then we'll rotate towards the right. Hopefully you can see me in the mirror. If not, maybe watch first. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to open up the quad here on the left side and the hip flexor. So option, really gentle option, is just lying like so, or rotating around this way, or you could do a quad stretch. Okay. So taking one of those options, this one, rotating the head either way, or on your forearm on your side quad stretch. So I'll time this for, just do a minute for now, getting as comfortable as you can. And we don't always have to feel this huge stretch to receive the benefits. sometimes the more gentle postures can help release the fascia, the connective tissue, and then that helps to release tension in that area without having to, breathe through an intense sensation. So knowing that the most subtle, gentle versions of yoga can release just as much tension and stress as maybe even more than other classes. So as you scan your body, just encourage that softening as you connect more deeply to your breath. Actually, I think we'll go one more minute. So if you want to adjust in any way, maybe you need to make it softer or a little bit more opening if your body's calling for that. One more minute of just allowing that upper leg, your left leg, to soften and let go. And feel your hands on the earth and start to press your arms down to lift yourself up. And then unwinding back to center. We'll come back to wide legs and windshield wipe our legs from side to side. And then we're just simply switching to the other side. So most gentle version here, a little bit more twist, rotation here, or a deeper quad stretch here. And so, yeah, I felt like a minute wasn't long enough. So we're going to go 2 minutes, and I'll let you know when the first minute is done if you want to go deeper or softer into the posture. So connective tissue, fascia, runs through our bodies like a web. And when the body starts to tense up, it can pull that section of the web and affect the whole web. And so noticing where there might be a pull in your body, a pull of your attention. Instead of wanting to change it, just allow it. Allow it to be as it is. Giving it permission to release and let go if it's ready for that. That's your halfway mark. And if not, just being the loving observer of that. And it could be the pull of your mind, it could be the pull of a muscle, or again, that connective tissue. Bring awareness to your hands, your arms, and very slowly start to unwind. And instead of unwinding all the way around, Just come up and then remove your bolster and set it off to the side of your yoga mat. And you can remove your block as well. And then make sure your blanket is flattened out. And toes to the back of the room, head towards me. And we'll create this steady foundation for our backs, for our spines, to find some freedom. So we'll start out cat-cow, but you can wiggle. If you're familiar with this, try something different, like a lateral flexion or jump roping the spine. If you've never done cat-cow before, play with just moving your spine in this direction. And if you want to do something different, you're welcome to. And then taking an inhale, walking your knees back, walking your hands forward. Your knees are underneath your hips. So your hips are high to the sky. And then sliding yourself down to the earth. Your forearms may touch, or you may just stay up on your hands with fingertips. And the crown of the head, not the crown, the forehead meets the earth. And if that's too much of a stretch, you can walk your elbows back towards your shoulders and just bow in there. And just allowing the heart to begin melting to the earth, moving through the mind. So the heart space is above the head space, and the heart is inspiring the mind to calm down, to be still, perhaps to even empty out all thought. On your next inhale, walk your hands back under your shoulders, tuck your toes and stretch through your feet. So shift your hips back. And if this isn't enough of a stretch, you're welcome to come up a little bit higher. And just working through some flexion of the toes. And preparing for a lunge here. So we'll take our bolster over to the left and then block on top of the bolster. And then the left toes can stay tucked or you can release them, and then step your right leg forward. So we'll take that bolster, we'll lean forward a little bit first and then take the bolster back, because if it's too far back, we're gonna come into this option. So you might, just depending on your hip flexibility, how tight your hips are today, maybe you hinge forward a little more, maybe you are a little bit further back, and you can just frame the bolster with your hands and bow here. Again, if that hip's more open, you might hinge forward more, and then more at the top of the thighs on the bolster, and then bowing from there. And if you don't want to use the block, you don't have to. You can lift your head up. It's just a way to add a little bit more support. And so we'll hold this for a minute, breathing to those hips to encourage a release, opening, a letting go. And finding a breath that supports the release, supports the opening. inhaling to come up, and then we'll go into a hamstring stretch. So take your block flat like so, and then push your left hand into it. And you can start to inch your right toes forward, or you can keep them where they are if your hamstring's more tight, and then peel your foot off of the earth. And you can bow from here if you want to go a little deeper, forearm on the block. You can also change the height of the block. Good. So just trying to encourage that right hip back and pushing that right heel into the earth, pulling back isometrically to support this posture and avoid pulling at the attachment points, really getting into the belly of the muscle. About 30 more seconds. One more long inhalation and exhalation. And at the end of your exhalation, pushing off of that block and drawing that right leg back. Yeah. You can move your bolster over to the other side. We'll use it in just a minute. We'll set our hands back on the earth and circle through that leg. So that right leg gets that circumduction, circling around one way a few times, and then circling the other way. And then cross that right knee behind and kind of to the outside of your left knee. And you're just shifting back until you feel a stretch. So you might feel it here, 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 here. You might have to go pretty far back to feel that. And so just kind of working through that. If you're feeling a lot, maybe you're working in and out of the posture. If you feel like holding, this is going to be just a short hold, like 3-4 more breaths. Good, and then coming on up, and we'll prepare for the other side. So setting that left leg forward. If you need to scoot your props in, you're welcome to do that. And then, so I guess this doesn't work for everybody because everybody's different heights, right? I'm a little shorter, so I can have the bolster touch my leg and the block touch my hand. But if you're taller, longer leg, maybe you're just focusing on the head on the block or the support of the bolster without the block. All right, so 1 minute of breathing through that hip flexor stretch on the right side. And allowing your breath to take up most of your attention. It's not necessary to really think right now, but to tune in and feel the body opening and the breath moving through the sensations, the old energy. And pushing through that left foot to come up, hinging back, lifting up your left toes, and then you can use your block to push into here, come into a more gentle version. And then of course, as you dive forward more, it's going to intensify it. And so another minute of pushing the heel down and then pulling it back isometrically to create a very supportive hamstring stretch. Inhale, start to bend that left leg. And then you can frame your, just really put your hands anywhere, frame your bolster if you want. Send that left leg back, maybe shake it out a little bit, and then cross it behind that left knee. Yep. And I like my knees on the blanket, otherwise the floor's pretty uncomfortable for the knees. So if you're not on the blanket, maybe scoot onto it. And then hinging back until you feel a stretch. It might be different on this side, so modifying as necessary. And the way we'll come out of this pose is we'll just kind of drop over to the left and swing the legs out. Wide-legged seated straddle. So if this isn't enough stretch for you, you can either take your feet off of the blanket, or you can turn towards the pool. All right, so we'll take that bolster in this position. There's actually so many positions. So if you're super flexible, you can just dive forward. If you're a little bit more tight, no biggie, you can just rest like this. You can angle it like this. You can take the block and set it on top at lots of different heights. And so just start to dive forward, and then wherever you stop, try and bring your props in a position to support you so that you don't have to really do much work here holding yourself up. So we'll hold a little bit longer for this one, 3 minutes. So if your body starts to cramp up or you just feel really uncomfortable, you can bring your legs closer together, you can bend your knees, you can sit up. And so just taking this longer period of time to increase flexibility in a really supportive way. And halfway there, if your body is starting to open up a little more, maybe adjusting the props. Beginning to help yourself up. Hands underneath the legs, and then use your arms to pull your legs back in. Okay, so this next pose is the total counter pose to adductor stretching, IT band stretching. So I'm going to show you first. So I'm just going to kind of tuck my left leg on the side of the bolster and then lie down. I'm sending my arms out to a T and kicking to the side. So the leg may be more lifted if you're tighter in there. If you're not as tight, try and reach your big toe to the floor. If you are really tight and need support, you can hold that leg as you're working through flexion and extension. And then if you're super flexible there, you can grab the pinky toe edge of that foot and then kick it over to the side, okay? So we'll do another 3 minutes because this is an area that can be quite tight for people. So I want to make sure you have enough time to gain the benefits of releasing the abductors, IT band. Yep, looks good. If you have questions, you can call me over, but everybody looks good. Just trying to find a place where it's not so intense that you're holding your breath, but it is intense enough that it's keeping your attention on your body. And you could make this as gentle or as expansive as you want. So gentle version, more bend flexion in the knee. More intense option, you're kicking with a straight leg up towards your head. And so you could play with moving in and out of that, or you could play with just settling and being still. One more minute, just checking in to see if this posture is still serving your body and what you need. If not, you can just intuitively move into a position that feels better. Really sending your breath to your low belly. Allow your belly to distend on your inhales and soften on your exhales. And then bending that right knee if it's straight and unwinding, coming back to center. And then bringing your feet on top of your bolster. You'll just lift your hips up and just kind of wiggle the hips out a little bit, taking some tension out of your hips and your low back. And then going to the other side. So you're kind of doing this threading the needle action with your right foot under your left leg. Arms to a T or a place that feels comfortable. You can have your hands on your torso if you want. And then kicking that left leg over to the right until you find a position that feels good. Maybe there's a slight discomfort because it is opening an area of the body that gets pretty tight. Just finding a gentler version of this than what you would do in like a Hatha Vinyasa type class. As you settle more deeply into the pose, just take notice of your shoulders, if you're holding tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your eyes, let that go. Even your inner thighs or your glutes. Right there, adjusting as needed. And 30 more seconds, really finding that invitation to drop in, to deepen your breath, to let go. And begin to bend that left knee. And then unwinding, feet on the bolster or the floor, and just kind of wiggle the hips out. So lift your hips off the floor and you wiggle, maybe circle, swing from side to side. And then bring your sacrum down, bend your knees into the chest, hold the knees and circle around. So you're massaging your low back and your sacrum. There might be a lot of sensation there through those stretches. So I'm trying to work through that, and then going the other way. And then tucking into a ball, giving yourself a big hug. Tuck your nose to your knees, rocking around like an Easter egg, and then releasing down. We're taking the bolster right under the knees. So if you need to like scoot around, if you want more of your shoulders on the blanket or whatever, we're coming into a very gentle hip opener here. So think of tree pose. So the right foot's at the inner left knee. You can pause here, you can focus on like belly breathing. If you're really looking for more, no big deal, you can cross, you can set that left foot on the bolster, come here, you can also reach through the window. This again is going to be a 3-minute hold. So any version, if you just are really wanting to do like a pigeon or something like that, you can go to that. That would obviously be the more opening, intense option, but whatever your body needs today, go there and just visualize those muscles you're releasing. The piriformis running under the glutes, and of course the glutes, a little bit of inner thigh there, and just supporting whatever your hips are feeling today with that spaciousness and that deeper breath that's deeper than your regular everyday breath when you're not thinking about it. There's a little bit of conscious action to lengthen out the inhale and the exhale. 30 more seconds, softening the tongue, allowing your eyeballs to be heavier in their sockets. Eyelids are soft, like velvet curtains over your eyes. Start to straighten out through your right leg. Bring your legs together and arms overhead. And push your legs into your bolster. Lift your hips up, maybe wiggle around a little bit, reaching into equal and opposite directions. And then setting up for other sides. So if you want to take the legs a little further apart, and then the left foot in towards the right knee. Maybe shifting the hips around a little bit. Arms can go wide or to your belly, and you can just spend this 3-minute section of just conscious breathing. As we start to move into the cooling phase of class, perhaps you let your lips part, let the jaw relax a little more. And if your mouth gets dry, of course, you can seal the lips together, or if you're a little bit chilly, you can seal the lips together. Keep that heat in your body. And this is our second to last pose before Shavasana. Doing all the things that you do to take yourself into a deeper state of relaxation. Seconds, allowing whatever is still residual that wants to take up your attention. The mind, the ego, likes to fight for its existence. And so giving it permission to be as it is, and reminding that part of you that wants to be seen, that it is acknowledged, whether it be in the mind or the body or the heart. And starting to extend now the left leg and preparing for your Shavasana pose. If you tend to have a tight low back, the bolster under the knees is great. If you don't, and you prefer not to have the bolster, you can remove it now. And then just sending your arms wide. I like about 45 degrees away from the body. And just gonna turn on a little bit of heat. So the warmth is calming for the nervous system. So you don't get too hot, but just allowing yourself to drop in, maybe even into a little nap if you fall asleep. And just surrendering to the whole universe, opening up to the spaciousness of the cosmos, opening up to intuition, pure potentiality, and the most magnificent version of you, which I believe is found in the stillness. And the sound of the chime draw your attention back into your body, and just take another couple moments to notice how you feel. begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, shimmy the shoulders, shake the hips a little bit, and take your time rolling over to your left side. You can just push your bolster away with your feet. Make a pillow with your arms, bend your knees, and pause. So this is a chant that is shared in the Kundalini practice, and it's an invitation to connect to the sun. And so as you're lying there, connecting to your solar plexus, the place between your belly button and the base of your sternum, and just allowing yourself to see that glowing light and extend and permeate through every cell of your body. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. And so, like a sunrise rising up over the mountains on a new day, allowing this moment to be an opportunity to be renewed, to open up to new possibilities, maybe even to start your day from here on out with a new perspective. So whatever that little jewel of information, hopefully there was something, maybe intuition or something that just felt right in your heart, taking that with you as you start to press your arms into the earth and come to a seated position. Once you're there, hands in Anjali Mudra, bowing the head, and just being a humble servant to your own heart, that powerful heart that knows what it wants and is a warrior of love and goodness, light. And so just humbly bowing into that space that is your highest self. And I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you, which is of love, light, truth, and peace. When I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste.
Thank you for coming. I'll sign off of YouTube. And if you have any questions or comments,